Today is the day. Everything is here. Today I will start finally making my own backdrop. And what I want to do is create something like an elephant background. I bet you heard of it before. And if you didn't heard of it before, check this out. This is really nice, so amazing. But I will do my own background and it will be, I hope it will be very nice. I have no idea, and my girlfriend will hate it. But I need that background. I need that background, and I want that background, and I create that background now. First of all, we need a high quality stage molten as a foundation. We need a primer because we are going to have high quality acrylic paint and a paint roller to bring it on. And some tools like a bucket or something like that to bring the paint on the canvas. Tape and some paint foil to cover everything up under our molten, and on top of that we need some coverage for our shoes. But before we can start, we have to prepare everything, our workplace. So get rid of everything, clean the floor, and then we can start to tape our foil onto the floor, prepare our workstation. So the foil is for security purposes because it will get really wet. When we covered everything up, we can start with the stage molten and spread out our stage molten. And you can iron it if you want to, but I decided not to because I wanted it with a little bit more texture in it. You feel free to do whatever you want. If you want to iron it, do it. If not, it's okay too. Don't worry, it will be really, really wet. So it should be alright. About the primer, you have to have... I had for my primer 1 liter and mixed it with water. 4 parts water on 1 part primer. Make sure you have it mixed up pretty well so the consistency is consistent. So it should be really smooth, not paste. It shouldn't be a paste, but it shouldn't be slippery, watery, like real water. It should be a little bit more sticky. And if you look here, you see what I mean. Look at that. Nice. Yeah, that should be alright. Yeah, and then you can take care about really good air conditioning. You need fresh air. It will stink. It will... Maybe it's not pretty healthy. I don't know what kind of color you will use, but please be safe. And yeah, then you can start. You can put up your paint roll, and maybe you want to have a stick, and you should go on and paint everything, cover everything up. As you will see, the stage molten will suck the paint so hard. It will suck it so hard. You have to be very, very careful, and this is the base. If you do that step not good enough, you will waste a lot of color, and the primer is much cheaper than the acrylic paint. So be careful and cover every spot. If you have spare primer left, put it on and use everything, and it will make your workflow much easier in the next step. When you finished priming your molten, you have to wait, you have to let it dry, and it took me about 8 hours. But if you have like 20 degrees, it should dry way faster. So you can see a little bit of the texture. You can see that it's really high quality, that it's not paper, it's not cheap, it's high quality molten. And after that it dries, you can start to paint on your color, the color of your choice. You should have a plan right before you even think. When you think about creating a molten, buying your own, painting your own canvas, your own backdrop, you should have in mind what color you need. And I stick to that what pros are saying, and I watched the interview of Oliphant Backgrounds with Sarah Oliphant, and she's saying if you want to put your photography onto the next level and you have no own backdrop, you should, the best thing you can invest is medium quality, like medium gray, blackish backdrop for a start. And what she was saying in her interview is that she wants to have a vignette all the time. And I watched, I'm a little bit a fan. I'm a fan of Annie Leibovitz, and I like to see her work at Vanity Fair and all the stuff that she's doing for Disney. And what I see in her images is that she got very much in every picture a vignette. And that's interesting to see, but sometimes you don't notice that, and it's hard to figure out if the light that she was setting on the set, it's because of the light, or is it because of the backdrop. And what I'm doing here is I'm painting white inside my backdrop in the middle of my background. I'm starting to create a vignette, and it's important for me. The next step I did was mixing some color up, some acrylic color, and then starting on the edges, working my way around. And as you can see, I'm not walking on the paint. I could, but I did not. And you see the molten is still sucking a lot of color. As you can see too, it was not very bad to paint over the center. Although I painted it white before, but it had a really nice effect, and it's exactly what I was hoping for in that part of my work. And you see it's already got really nice shades. It's the first step, the first layer of paint, but it got really nice effect. Just cover everything up with your first layer of paint and then let it dry. Maybe it will take again 8 hours, 12 hours. It should be dry. If you put your hand above the color and you got some color on your hand, even if it's like dust, it's not dry. You have to have it as dry as possible. So if you take your hand and go over the color, go over the molten, then you should have nothing on your hands after that. You should have still clean hands. And the next day, this is the next thing I did. I was cover everything up with another layer, and I painted it a little bit with Russian gray, Russian blue, Russian green, bluish. Yeah, the color, it's the name of the color. And it's really nice. I mix it with water. I don't know the parts. I believe this is a little bit like art, and I wanted to create something just to create something, just to have my own thing. I don't want any perfect background. I want a background with character, with heart, and don't take it too serious. For me, it was an experiment, and I was pretty confident that the final result will be good, at least good enough so I can use that for work. And
I reached that goal, so for me it's everything fine, and it won't be my last background, and I made really good, really important experiences. But as you can see, I cover everything up, just plain cover everything up with my bluish paint. And when I'm done, I let everything dry again. And the next part, this is not the last layer, but the floor is still sucking, but it's not sucking as much as before. So if you're thinking about making your own background, you see here what others won't show you. I was a little bit disappointed because there are some really nice tutorials on YouTube how to make a backdrop, but they only put one layer on it, and that was so sad because that's not enough in my opinion. And as you can see here, the more layers you put on, the more interesting it gets, the more heart it has, and the more character, in my opinion. The end result is still really nice, as you will see, but here I was mixing up again. I was forcing again to have that vignette, and on the outsides I did again put on more dark color. So I forced to have that vignette look. Yes, and let everything dry. By the way, in between your layers, in between the days, keep your tools clean. Every tool you use should be cleaned after you use them. So on the next day, you have fresh tools to work with. That's really important. Think about like a painter, like a pro painter would work, and do it like that too. Think about what you're doing before you are doing it. Planning is everything here. Not everything, but you should plan everything. And if you're doing art, if that's something like art for you, then just do it. But the preparation should be alright. It should be planned very well. This is my last layer. I used not all of my color, but I used but this time I mixed my umbra with a little bit of the blue color, of the russish green bluish color, and now I added a lot of water, like 2 parts water and 1 part paint, and I painted everything up. I wanted a clean finish. I wanted a really clean, solid, smooth finish that my backdrop is having. And so I painted a lot. I used a lot of color, and I tried to paint everything as smooth as possible and as good as possible. And every part of the background, in my opinion, should have enough and the same amount of paint to reach that consistent look that you will see in the end. Yeah, and for me it was the last step. I let it dry overnight, and the final result you will see now. Please don't mind if you don't see any nice picture now. It was just for testing, and so you can have a very good impression what is possible and how it looks like. I'm already planning a photo shoot with that backdrop, and I won't talk about it now, but subscribe to my channel and I will take you with me on that trip. And this will be a really nice shoot. It will be a personal project I'm planning some time from now, and that was the reason I was creating the backdrop. But that's not the only reason, because I created the background for another purpose too. I'm a fan of doing one thing that has multiple purposes, and this backdrop will be used as a backdrop. This backdrop is 2 by 3 meters, and it's perfect for backdrop and for a photo booth. If you have any questions, write them in the comments below. I will answer every question, promise. And please subscribe to my channel. Would be nice if I get some feedback, what you want to see in the future. And thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye. Yes, subscribe to my channel. Really nice. Thank you for watching. And see you soon. Bye.